live content accounts for almost a quarter of global viewing time. Live video generates 27% more minutes of watch time per viewing than on-demand video. Live streaming is a $70 billion industry. What does it all mean? Let's find out on the Why I Go Live podcast with Coach Kirk.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's good to be back, y'all. It's good to be back for another podcast episode. I hope you're doing well out there. I hope you are streaming. I hope you are doing your live stream thing. I'm Kirk Nugent, get to serve as your host for the Why I Go Live podcast. Why do you go live? We're going to get right into that question today. Live content, get this, live content generates 27% more minutes of watch time per viewing than on-demand video. Did you know that? I didn't think you did. And that's the reason why we got to figure out why people go live. What is the deal with this? What is the opportunity that we might be missing? And I want to make sure that we get a chance to do that. And we have a guest on tap today. I'm excited to welcome relationship coach and the co-host of the John and April show, Mr. John Nixon. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Kirk? Thanks for having me on, man.
I'm excited to have you here, man. I got to tell you, man, I like that T-shirt. I know this is a podcast. This is a shameless plug. I'm not even on brand today. This is a podcast, so I'm gonna have to clip out this piece and make sure that this piece is shown because I got to make sure people see you in that T-shirt, man. But that is so dope.
I love it,
welcome to the
I was
show.
Waiting for a time to wear it, and this is the perfect opportunity.
This is the perfect time. I'm excited for that. But man, listen, hopefully you're doing well today.
Doing well, man. Yeah, having a good day so far, and glad to be on your show. Been, I've never done anything with you. That's not true. I've done the joint on Friday night by myself. I was gonna say most of the time when I'm on with you, it's with me and my wife. But this is my
that is
time.
correct. That is correct. Yeah. You have jumped on a Friday night. You're right. But all the other times we usually have you on with your co-host and your wife, April, and we're excited to have her on in a coming episode. So we're excited about that as well. But man, listen, just take a second to kind of set the stage. A lot of people that come on the show, they're already or probably content creators in their own right. But a lot of people that I've had on the show are streamers or they're YouTube coaches, stuff like that. People who are basically, they're going to tell the reason why they go live because, that's kind of part of their job description, if you will. Right. But you kind of share, what's your primary job? And then what types of content do you create? And, give us some of that information as we get really to dive into our main question.
Yeah, so I'm my primary job is I'm a pastor. I've been doing that for 23 years, something like that.
Nice.
And my wife and I accidentally ended up coaching a couple early on that wanted to get married, and it just created this thing where sort of by accident, the two of us were coaching couples together instead of just me by myself. People come to the pastor to, give them counseling on marriage and stuff like that. But anyway, it kind of just morphed into that by accident. And so years later, we decided to start a YouTube channel, and now we're relationship coaches on YouTube. And we love it, man. Honestly, it gives us so much life. So many times when we're doing stuff at our regular job and it may be a hard day or something like that, you come down here, you turn on the camera and the lights and you press record, and now you're doing what you're passionate about.
Come on.
It's just fun. It doesn't even feel like work. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So we love it. We've been doing it for, I guess, since 2019. So this is 2023, 4 years.
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah,
no,
now, we've been doing it for 20-something years, but just not on YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
Not on YouTube, yeah. So finally taking those skill sets out of the private sessions and then putting them online where a lot more people can get access to them. In fact, you're serving at scale, and I love that. It's a whole nother portion of what I teach coaches, authors, and consultants to do is to serve at scale with their content. But listen, man, that is awesome, and I know so your primary vocation is pastoring, right? Yes. That's a very far cry from being a live streamer. And so how does live streaming fit into your content strategy?
Yeah, so that kind of happened out of necessity for us. We were recording these episodes all the time, and there's a guy at my church who's like my AV guy, basically. And he came to the house one time, and he was looking at our setup, and he watches the show, and he likes it and stuff. And he said, listen, I know you guys like what you're doing, and I know you like the the control that you have by editing. He said, but you will save a lot more time if you do this live. And April was immediately like, no, there's no way I'm doing that. I mean, what if I say the wrong thing or whatever? And he was like, don't worry about that. I'm telling you, it's worth it. And maybe about 2 or 3 months later, we got to this place where we just couldn't sustain recording and editing that many episodes, and we were just too tired because we had real jobs, and we're parents. You know what I'm saying? We have our kids. We're doing stuff. We had to drop them off and pick them up all the time. There just wasn't enough time in a day, in a week, to be able to get that stuff in. We wanted to continue to create content, but we didn't really want to have the time to afterwards to edit and all that stuff. So called that same guy over, and he told us about some equipment. Called a couple other people. One of them was you, and got some advice from you on some things we needed to do to set it up just right. Got the Rodecaster Pro, the Stream Deck, so certain things you can just press buttons and make it happen. Just started going live, and it's amazing the time saving. I heard you the other day. I was watching one of your other podcasts that you do, and you were saying, I do this live because it's like a hack. I don't want to. I think you did the episode like right before you had to take the kids to school or something like that. I was like,
you are correct.
This is the genius that people don't understand about why live streaming is. If you're the type that has a hard time getting the content out, just go live. You know what I'm saying? Live. You can repurpose it later if you want to, but you just keep on doing it. So anyway, that's what we did, and it had a residual effect too. Though there was a second thing that we didn't know we were going to stumble on, and that is. We really, really, really like to interact with our audience. And
there it is.
Having it live allows us to do that. And because we're relationship coaches, what ends up happening is, which is why we really have the show, couples tell us all the time that by watching our show, Just John and April, we do it on Wednesday nights at 9:00.
Come on and plug. Come on. It's going to be in the description. It's going to be in the show notes. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's in the description already. When they watch the show live, they're able to get in the comments. In fact, we tried to encourage that by calling our group. We call them chimes. So if you're in the comments, you're chiming in the comments, you're a chime. So people get in the comments all the time. They say stuff that makes the conversation better. And then April even said, you know what? You don't ever have to get in the comments to be a chime. As long as you're talking about this with your spouse or significant other, if you're chiming in with them at home. So that's the whole point of it. It's about getting conversations out there. A lot of couples have struggles in their relationship because they haven't said their expectations. They haven't mentioned stuff. They haven't talked about things out loud. Our show allows you to do that. That's kind of the idea. So going live,
man, that's so
basically
good,
for those two reasons.
That's so good. I think we could almost end the episode right there. There's just, it's such a cheat code in terms of some of the things that you're sharing. People don't recognize that audience engagement is how you have people bought in for life. Brands that have brands like Apple, who have almost cult-like following, like the Beehive, like these people will buy. Like real talk, Beyonce could put out a toilet tissue brand. And the Beehive would literally be like, okay, there's no other type of toilet tissue to buy anymore. But the way that you engage, the way that you tap into that level of commitment and excitement around your community and around your brand is by that kind of thing, by giving them the name and letting them feel a part of that. You're hitting on so many different things. I'm like, I just finished a coaching session earlier today, and I was trying to explain the concept to this. It's a couple as well, but they do finance. And I was trying to explain to them, guys, you really need to be thinking about what are you going to name your audience. They're like, name the audience. I was like, it's going to click later, but trust me on this.
Man.
It has an effect.
No question about it.
That is
they
so
feel like
good.
They're part of a community. We have this thing now. We've got this relationship. You know what I'm saying? I'm a chime, and people will type in the comments, OG chime.
OG chime. Oh, that's so good.
Like I was one of the original ones, when you first started going live. And
yeah.
So,
it's like a badge of honor.
Man. Yeah. And we call them on the show, and we say stuff about them and stuff. So, it's great, man. We love it.
Everything you're just saying right now, you can't do any of it. You can't do any of that pre-recorded. You can't. It only can be done live. And I love that. I love that you guys have tapped into that. Okay, so the question that we want to ask, of course, this is the title of the show. John Nixon, why do you go live?
Those are the two reasons right there. Number one, it is literally a time-saving hack. If you're having trouble coming up with new content, or you're scared that you're gonna not, have time, because a lot of people don't, you got to go live. And then number two, it allows you to interact with your audience in a deeper way, at a deeper level. So obviously, we started our podcast in 19, and then we started going live in 20. And 20, of course, we got hit with this pandemic and everybody was home. We're all searching for community, trying to have connection. How do we do that? Man, our show, it was like perfectly timed with the whole live stream thing. We had gotten comfortable enough with the, recording and editing part. And now we could go live and have a connection with people that we didn't see in person for years. Like April and I are literally just meeting some of our chimes,
some of the people,
like recently. You know what I'm saying? Like in person, like we know each other. You know what I'm saying? But we've never seen each other before. Like I can hug you now and stuff like that. It makes a difference, man. So those are our two main reasons, and that's why we love it. Now I would tell anybody to go live. And let me tell you something, Kurt. I think the biggest reason we didn't want to go live is because we were always scared about what we would say, saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing. You know what, man? Sometimes that sort of feeling is why live is better. People like to see you unedited. They want to see the raw. Anything could happen. You know what I'm saying? And our lives are really on demand. If you really think about it, we don't really watch live television anymore unless it's live sports. Pretty much everything is pre-recorded, on demand kind of thing. Right. So to have appointment viewing where I have to see it live just in case something happens that, isn't scripted, that's what people want. So
that's what they want.
Why not do it?
Here's the ultimate cheat code, man. You're dancing around it. I just want to literally click right on it. And that is simply this. If you are wondering if live is for me, if you have the same fear that John just shared a second ago, here's what I want to say to you. You go live every day. Every time you step out of your house, every time you walk into the grocery store, you're live. You're talking to people. You have no idea what those interactions are going to be like. You have no idea you don't know what their response is going to be. Live is actually life. Yeah. And that's what people want to see. They want to see it happening. And the fact that your audience can have impact and input into what that end result looks like. Yeah. Oh, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. Listen, this is it. We're done. I just want to ask you this one last question. I'm going to tee it up a little bit here, but can you share with us, something that has happened, something maybe that is crazy, maybe that's like, how did that come from my live show that you can draw a straight line, maybe even through multiple hops back to you and April going live? I know for me, the job that I have right now as media pastor at the Oakwood University Church literally came out of me going live on a Friday night basis and getting a chance to engage and build up those skills, and people seeing that and seeing me in a position of a minister, essentially, right? For that Friday night session, that's what they saw me as. In fact, that they even named me bishop. Right. My community, there are communities where there are places where I go where they don't call me Kirk at all. I just hear bishop out of the corner. Right. I'm like, yep, that's one of my cafe folks. And so in coming full circle out of the pandemic, and opportunities began to arise. Different things came on our plate. We prayed and thought about a lot of them, but this one in particular came up at Oakwood Church, and they asked us to consider being media pastor there, and I could not say no. And it's just the craziest thing. Like, I went live to test a gimbal one Friday night. Oh, and wow. That's how the cafe started. I was just testing my gimbal one Friday night and just went live, and I began engaging with the comments, and I actually loved it. And I was like, this is actually, pretty cool. I went live the next Friday night because I was speaking in Australia, and the time frame that I was speaking here in the States was about 11 Friday night, Saturday morning for them. Right. And so I was speaking, and I went live on my phone just to kind of showcase that I was speaking. And the same audience that was there the last Friday night came back, and that became a week by week thing. And that ballooned into this absolutely crazy opportunity to serve as media pastor. Going live may actually change your life. You just don't know. All right. I've teed it up. I don't know if you've got anything, brother, but what's some of the craziest things? Please.
So we are actually responsible for a pregnancy. So, so April and I love it. We went live, and there was a couple on there who started following us and started being part of our regular chimes. And then we offered this 30-day intimacy boot camp. It was during the pandemic, and it was something that a lot of couples needed because, couples were stuck in the house with each other for the first time, for a long time. And it was like, marriages were kind of deteriorating a little bit, man, because, you don't see each other that often, so it's kind of hard. Like so anyway, they joined our 30-day intimacy boot camp, and a couple of months later, after the boot camp was over, they hit us up in an email, or maybe it was actually, they chimed in one of the comments on the show on a Wednesday night and said, "Hey, we're pregnant and it's because of you guys." And we're like, "What are you talking about?" And they said, "We got pregnant because of the boot camp." We said, "Oh,
because
my
goodness,
of the boot camp.
Have mercy.
So I don't know what they named the baby. I mean, I don't know if it's a boy
Did
or
they
girl.
name it John or April?
John, April, I don't know. But
we're
responsible for pregnancy, man. So, you don't know what kind of impact you're going to have when you go live.
That's
and
it.
There are countless couples that tell us all the time how something we said on one of our shows helped them to have a tough conversation about something that was going on in their marriage, and it made an actual difference. So, those are the kinds of things we live for. We love hearing stuff like that. That's not why we turned it on. We didn't say to ourselves, "Hey, we're going to help this particular couple." But, it happens all the time. And we're just trying our best. Keep on pressing record. You know what I'm saying? Every time. Go live every time. And something amazing happens, man.
That is absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, man. Listen, John has been on the How It All Works show, Convos and Collabs. He's not new to this community, but he's definitely new to this space, and he's never answered this question for us before. And I think you got a chance to see some real insight into why he goes live, but also what that has had impact, or how that has had impact on his community as well. Going live, I want to say this to you: if you dare to jump off that cliff, if you dare to take the leap of faith into the abyss of live streaming, going live will not only impact the people who are watching. Going live might just impact you, and that actually is probably the most beneficial part. Fam, I just want to say a word of thanks to John. Hey, take a second and just share where people can find and follow you. Of course, as I mentioned before, a lot of these details will be in the show notes, but if you got anything special coming up, hey, somebody might be like, when's the next boot camp? So take a second and share a little bit what you got going on before we close this thing out.
Yeah, so we got some special stuff happening in the February timeframe, and then of course next summer that'll be boot camp type stuff. But all you have to do is go to @JustJohnAndApril. That's on our Instagram, or I guess Facebook is John and April as well. Our YouTube is Just John and April. So Just John and April, or you can just go to our website, JustJohnAndApril.com. Nice.
That makes it real simple. It's Just John and April pretty much everywhere. Yep. So guys, make sure you get a chance to check that out. John, thank you so much for your time
and attention,
for your time today.
I enjoyed it, man.
Absolutely. This is absolutely phenomenal. Fam, if you are thinking about going live, if you're thinking about taking the plunge, if you need some assistance, then you might want to check me out, KirkRNugent.com. We've got some courses there for both StreamYard and Ecamm, two of the best platforms to use to go live, especially for beginners, but even for those who are a little more advanced. And if we've got not only some courses, we've got some overlays and some different things that you might be able to use as resources for your live streaming. Plus, we do content coaching and live stream coaching, live video strategy for coaches, authors, and consultants as well. So definitely check us out, KirkRNugent.com. We are excited about your time and attention. We thank you that you've made it this far in the video, in the podcast, in the audio episode, and we hope to see you around these internet streets or on another audio stream. Take care, fam.
Why I Go Live, hosted by Coach Kirk, is a composition production. Real streamers, honest stories, and incredible impact. Add your voice to the conversation. Go to KirkRNugent.live/member to join the community. And let's figure out how it all works.